The Trump administration continues to go where few other presidencies have, directly into the boardrooms of corporate America. The question is, will these efforts fundamentally change how our economic system might function in the future? To put it more pointedly, is capitalism as we knew it dead? Walter Isaacson is a Tulane University professor, Perella Weinberg advisory partner, the author of best-selling books, of course, on Elon Musk and Steve Jobs. He's also a CNBC contributor, and he joins us now. It's so good to have you, Walter. Welcome.
Thank you, Scott, and thanks for being on this theme all week.
How would you assess this key question that we asked today?
Well, first of all, capitalism is going to survive because it's the greatest wealth creation engine that, the world has seen. In 1776, 250 years ago, we wrote the Declaration of Independence and said we're enshrining the notion of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But something almost as important happens that same year, which is Adam Smith writes The Wealth of Nations, which takes the notion of individual liberty and ties it to a free market economy. When you start messing with the free market economy, I do think that it means you're not going to have as much wealth. The weird thing is we're now seeing it from the Trump administration messing with corporations and trying to have almost a state capitalism. And of course, on the left, you see the challenges of capitalism. It was almost as if that meeting in the Oval Office between the Mayor Mondani in New York and President Trump was like a meeting of people who like to mess with just the pure free market.
You've touched on it for a moment, the idea, what some suggest we already have morphed into, is state-sponsored capitalism, where the government tries to decide outcomes. It picks winners and losers. It overtly threatens privately run businesses. It takes stakes in private companies. It talks about price controls. All things that, especially in a Republican administration, Walter, would never happen throughout our history.
I don't think this is a typical Republican administration, as you know. And I think one of the interesting things is that Donald Trump has seized a populist message, which can include an anti-corporate message, saying you shouldn't have too many stock buybacks if you're a defense contractor, or pay dividends, or corporations shouldn't buy up private housing. That populist message resonates, and there's actually some truth to the populist backlash happening. But what you're seeing with this administration is not a conventional conservative Republican defense of capitalism and free markets, but something slightly different, which has a populist tinge to it.
You raise a good point, obviously, and maybe it speaks to the argument that some would make that capitalism needs to change, or it needs to evolve, that it's not working for all people as it was maybe originally intended, that it's only widened the divide between the haves and the have-nots, between the rich and the poor. Income inequality,
100%.
which has been a key issue over the last decade or so, is now front and center. And capitalism needs to change because it's not working the way it was intended to be.
Absolutely, and this is why you have the populist backlash, is that the free markets, capitalism, democracy, all created great wealth. But over the past 40 years, two things have happened. One is the inequalities of wealth, which is really a policy issue. It can be a byproduct of capitalism and a byproduct of great new technologies coming, but it's something that is also a matter of policy. And secondly, and related to that, is the death of the American dream. If 50 years ago you were born, you had an 85% chance of making more than your parents. At age 30, you could have a house and the kids and the car on one salary. Nowadays, people don't believe that the next generation, that their kids will do better. If you're in your 30s, you're going to do as well as your parents. And that has shown that there are problems with the past 20, 30, 40 years of the way democracy and capitalism hasn't delivered for the middle class.